The Politics program is brought to you, as always, by patreon.com/JURY. You want extra podcasts in your life? You want a little mini podcast on Monday? Hell, how about this? You go ahead and get a little mini podcast there on a Friday as well. Well, just bump up to the $3 level on patreon.com/JURY. The jury is in your life if you support me at patreon.com/JURY. And Bay Area, we have a live show. We're going to be talking a lot more about it all throughout the month of February, because on March 1st, 7 p.m., we are going to be live at Piano Fight in San Francisco. That is a Thursday. It's a cheap ticket, $18. We are going to be unveiling and breaking down, voting together on the best sex scandal in American political history. And folks, some of the stuff that your politicians have gotten their nose into, it is titillating. It is lurid. It is exciting, and you will have an amazing time. All you got to do is go to bit.ly/sfsexshow. Yeah, that was available. bit.ly/sfsexshow. But enough of talking about how we support the show and the live events we have coming up for you. What do you say we just do the damn thing?
Politics, 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 politics. Yes. Come on, come on, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the Politics live show, the day after the State of the Union. Welcome, folks. Again, my name is Justin Robert Young. It is great to be with you. Thank you for supporting this show. Thank you for being a part of independent political media, the likes of which the world has never seen before. And we have a lot to talk about. Man, we got this FISA memo thing out here. Man, we got the State of the Union over here. We got people retiring. We got people in trouble. But before we do any of that, I need to ask you all a very serious question, because this is something that I take very seriously. In a world where the Democrats have a lot of exciting options for 2020, new faces, some old faces, some new faces. You got, for each old white guy like Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, you got some exciting young women. I mean, young on political scale. Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris. You've got people that are revered by the progressive left, Elizabeth Warren. You've got a candidate that seemed to be destined for the larger stage ever since Obama got elected, in Cory Booker. So in a world where all of those options are there for the taking during Donald Trump's first State of the Union, as the Democrats can finally celebrate the setting of the Clinton dynasty, is there anything funnier than the fact that the DNC trotted out another fucking Kennedy last night? I swear to God, the DNC, and I know that the DNC is many different people. I know that the DNC is a million different spinning wheels. But is there anything on earth funnier than the DNC saying, oh, geez, oh, God, okay, oh, God, they don't want Clinton. They don't want Clintons. They don't want Clintons. Okay, Clintons. No more Clintons. No more Clintons. Zero Clintons. We can't have Clintons. How about Chelsea? No, not Clintons. Not Clintons. Would you like a Kennedy? Can I interest you in a Kennedy? Maybe, you know, they're not Clintons. They were the last white family we got obsessed about. If you're unaware, Joe Kennedy III gave the Democratic response for the State of the Union. He may or may not have been drooling, and I did not watch what he said, so I don't have much of a commentary on it, except for the fact that really, that's it. If it ain't a Clinton, it's a Kennedy with these people. Holy shit. I'm not kidding about you guys. Like I did not see this speech. And I literally just paused the video that I was using as B-roll for those of us that are watching here on twitch.tv/JustinRYoung. But they were not kidding. That dude was drooling. Was he not drooling? Is that? I mean, I guess this is just the worst thing, right? Marco Rubio had that whole had that whole water thing, right? And this dude just has a like weird sort of drool thing going on. All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna get hypnotized by his weird drooling out of his mouth. Get a Kennedy. Are there any Kennedys left? Fine. There's got to be something in. We got to have a Kennedy stored in the basement somewhere. They're just rummaging through old boxes. Oh, God. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the State of the Union itself. Donald Trump gave the State of the Union. I said this last night in the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, go ahead and get it for free. tinyletter.com/JustinRobertYoung. That should scare Democrats. What happened last night should scare Democrats. It should. Because it demonstrated a few things about Donald Trump. A, it showed that in big moments, he wants to be more presidential and conciliatory than he acts day to day. So as much as the DC political class, and I think a broader swath of pop culture, but by and large, younger internet-connected people are following the day-to-day. Every time he scratches his butt, every time he says something horrifying on Twitter, every time he calls Haiti a shithole, we follow it. And we add it up. It accumulates for us. For the vast majority of people who will be voting in 2020, they will only see, if they see any of the State of the Unions, it'll be, I mean, that's in general when people kind of tune into politics. Granted, we are at a more political age now, but still the vast majority of people don't give a fuck. In fact, they find politics repugnant. So they might tune into that and see, oh, I guess he's calmed down since he ran when he was, yelling at everybody all the time. So that's the first thing. Number two, we saw what might be the dawning of a strategy for Donald Trump. It is a bargaining technique that could prove very vexing for the Democratic Congress. He wants to get the big thing back in a deal. So last night, he put it in his own mouth. It wasn't just a leaked memo. That on immigration, he wants to triple the amount of people that will get a pathway to citizenship that are currently illegal in this country. Triple what Obama wanted to do for the Dreamers. It's like 700,000 before. Now it's like 1.8 million. That was his proposal. He said he wanted to craft a bipartisan thing that gave 3 times the amount of what Obama wanted to give for pathways to citizenship to illegal immigrants. That is something that has made the far right immigration hawks howl. In fact, Trump said earlier, it's not a pathway. Dreamers will morph into citizens after a certain period of time, provided they meet certain requirements, which I think is an apt word to use to describe that act, because it puts into context the fact that Ann Coulter was howling like Rita Repulsa when she heard the news. No, my plan, my beautiful monsters. But here's Trump's gambit. Trump's gambit is give away that. Go harder on pathway to citizenship than Obama did. Go harder on pathway to citizenship than the congressional Republicans did when Breitbart rose up and smacked them down and called them the gang of amnesty, right? But what you get back are 2 things. Number one, he gets back his big, beautiful wall with his big, beautiful door. A ridiculous amount of money. I think it was like $25 billion or something like that. And he wants to end chain migration, and he wants to make it easier to deport. This is Donald Trump offering the unthinkable to get what will ultimately be his legacy on immigration. He wants to make that deal, and he's unafraid of scaring off elements of his base, because his gambit is that eventually they'll be happy that they got the wall, and this is something that just had to be given away. And if they are going to play the amnesty card, and they are going to give that away, which is, again, verboten amongst hardline immigration folks, that they got something back. But what should scare Democrats is what happens if they say no? What happens if the Democrats have a chance to get 1.8 million illegal immigrants a pathway to citizenship, and they say no? That's the question. And that's what should scare liberals. Number one, that he was on his best behavior. Number two, that he wants to appear in the big moments to be a uniter and not a divider, even if in the small moments he's the boss gremlin from Gremlin 2. The one that was like in Trump Tower, or maybe it was more CNN. I guess he was making more fun of Ted Turner in Gremlins 2. Please email me, theyoungamerican@gmail.com, or follow me on Twitter and answer me. Was Gremlins 2 making fun more of Ted Turner or of Donald Trump? Either way, Hey, mister, welcome to the men's room. Oh, and the Americans are dreamers too, being the new All Lives Matter. Like, that was a dog whistle played to such a frequency that everybody wearing a red hat did a full backflip. Look, man, I think it was a good speech for him. We're gonna get into some of the reaction to it in the pole dance, but as we move closer to the midterms, and as we are already in the beginning stages of the 2020 presidential election, make no mistake that the way that Donald Trump wants to handle Democrats is going to fill in and inform how he talks about his record on the trail. Obama did a very, very, very good job in 2016 of beating Mitt Romney and painting the Republican Congress as obstructionist, people who did not want to play ball. And even then, I found that to be, personally, something that the buck stops with you. But it worked politically. Donald Trump can do the exact same thing. And if the economy's good, and by the way, none of this matters if the economy's bad. But if the economy's good, Trump's going to be very, very, very hard to beat. Specifically, if this drooling ass Kennedy is on here. Oh my God. I wish I would have left that picture up. That was a lot of drool. Okay. Let's move on. We have another big story. The one thing that kind of was blowing up at the beginning of the week, but got the pause button hit on it yesterday to wait for the State of the Union was the FISA memo. The FISA memo. What is the FISA memo? Well, the FISA memo is effectively a memo detailing the uses and, as the Republicans claim, the abuses of the FISA, the laws that basically allow us to wiretap our own citizens in the ever-loving search for truth. So here we go. Republicans vote to release memo alleging FBI missteps in surveillance of Trump campaign operatives. This written by Karen Demirjian and Devlin Barrett of the Washington Post. The House Intelligence Committee voted Monday to release a memo detailing alleged surveillance abuses by the FBI and the Justice Department, escalating a political fight between conservatives and the nation's intelligence agencies. The vote, which proceeded along party lines in the Republican-controlled committee, means that President Trump now has up to 5 days to review the material and decide whether to keep it secret, though he could agree to release the memo any time before that deadline. If he does nothing, the committee can release the memo publicly. The Justice Department and the FBI are likely to lobby Trump in the interim, hopeful that he will prevent the memo's classified contents from being public before the lawyers for those agencies can review the material. Now, why does this matter? It matters because, Pierce, there's a war for your mind going on right now. I'm just sorry. The son of a motherfucker. I'm so sorry. I know I have Christian affiliates. There's an info war. Obviously, this Mueller investigation continues to move forward. The other big story this week was that McCabe, the second in command of the FBI, has left early. He was planning on retiring in March. He has left as of the end of January. the Republicans in Congress and the White House are working in tandem to show wherever they can any kind of bias that is exhibited by the FBI towards Donald Trump at any time. Then, now, forever. If they can, in the minds of the American public, then when Mueller releases his investigation and charges whoever he wants to charge with whatever crime he wants to charge them with, the congressional Republicans will have a chance to say, yes, and did we forget about how they're biased? Mueller, remember, was a former head of the FBI. So this FISA memo, they allege, shows that people were bugged in Trump Tower. Remember the whole Donald Trump, Obama's a sad or sick man tweet about how they tapped his wires? This is what that's about. And the idea that there is, in general, an inherent bias. That's what all this McCabe stuff, all this missing text messages, all this secret society. By the way, R.I.P. Kendrick didn't win the Grammy last night or last weekend. Damn, it was a great album. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. All those loyalty tests, all that, right? This is about fighting for credibility that will be accumulated or evaporated by the time that Mueller drops his investigation. So keep an eye on it. And do yourself a favor. Tell you what, if you want to do yourself a favor, go ahead and conduct yourself a little science experiment. In fact, this is going to be a little PX3 science experiment. And you can email your results to theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Ask somebody that you know that doesn't really pay attention to politics if they've heard the latest about the Mueller investigation, and then ask them if they've heard about the FISA memo. And if they've heard of neither, then take it as a no result. If they've heard of one and not the other, then the more likely will have heard of Mueller, then Mueller, one for Mueller, right? If they've heard of the FISA memo at all, any kind of horse apples nonsense that the Republicans can string to this investigation, the better off they will be when the ball actually drops. One more little fun tidbit that I do want to bring up about McCabe, though. Man, this dude is leaking. Oh, God. I love it when it is so clear that somebody is talking to reporters. Like, maybe just like reading stuff, but like when it's very clear that like the source is either the person involved in the story or somebody very close to them, it's very obvious because you get a lot of very personal kind of details. And also it just reads like something that person would be excited to tell somebody else. And that's what comes up when we investigate a story like this. Trump's gripes about McCabe included wife's politics and Comey's ride home. So again, this is a story about the kind of shit that McCabe had to put up with when it came to dealing with Donald Trump. Here we go. This is Carol E. Lee for NBC News. The day after he fired James Comey, fired from his dream job. A furious President Donald Trump called the Bureau's acting director, Andrew McCabe, demanding to know why Comey had been allowed to fly on the FBI plane from Los Angeles back to Washington after he was dismissed, according to people familiar with the phone call. McCabe told the president that he hadn't been asked to authorize Comey's flight, but if anyone had asked, he would have approved it. 3 people familiar with the call recounted to NBC News. Yeah. 3 people. 3 people around Andrew McCabe. He would describe them as me, myself, and I. The president was silent for a moment and then turned on McCabe, suggesting that he ask his wife how it feels to be a loser, an apparent reference to a failed campaign for state office in Virginia that McCabe's wife made in 2015. McCabe replied, "Okay, sir," and then hung up the phone. An FBI official who would not speak on the record disputed the account, saying that this simply never happened. Any suggestion otherwise is pure fiction. The FBI declined comment on the call. So, friends, do yourself a favor and ask, where do you think the sourcing on a call that brings not direct quotes from Trump's mouth, but yes, direct quotes from McCabe's mouth, where do you think that story came from? Just ask yourself, do you think it was from Trump? No, probably not. I mean, doesn't sound like, it even had any of the kind of stuff that the Trump sourcing has. Even when they're painting him to be a madman lunatic, they usually try to make him a righteous madman lunatic. I mean, could it be Comey? Maybe. A story that was repeated to him. That's secondhand sourcing, though. So it'd probably have to be somebody in the room that knew that McCabe replied, "Okay, sir." I mean, it was probably McCabe, right? Like, that dude's leaving. He's retired. He don't give a shit. So why not roast the man who tormented him and apparently took a big old poop on his wife via a phone call? That's always very funny to me. Okay, let's talk about it in general. If it is true, which I have no reason to believe it's not, it sounds very Trumpian, which, of course, is the worst thing to do. You always want to be double skeptical of things that seem too good to be true. But how mad do you have to be at somebody? Like, Trump's really, really mad at Comey that he's like, no, make him fly commercial. In fact, you want to know what? Call up Southwest. We got your new poster boy for Wanna Get Away. There we go. The new Wanna Get Away ads are going to be James Comey talking to people at the FBI and then having people whisper in his ear, "Oh, yeah, you've been fired. You've been fired as the FBI director." Wanna get away? Bing. And then he's boarding group C-24 because it's a last-minute flight and he didn't check in 24 hours ago. Getting his free peanuts as the fucking Southwest stewardess battle raps with another stewardess to explain to you the safety features of this airline. It'd be great if Comey hitchhiked, though. That would be funny. I would like it if he went on a little adventure, like a Bob Hope on the Road movie. So he gets fired and then, immediately breaks into a La La Land level musical as he makes his way across the country. I was the FBI director yesterday, and then All right. Nobody wants to hear that. We do have some late-breaking news, though. Folks, it is indeed a Wave Watch. Oh, Comey, where art thou? That's what we could have had. We could have had, oh, Comey, where art thou? I don't want fop. I'm a Dapper Dan man. The pleasing odor is half the point. Well, ain't this place a geographical oddity? 3 days from everywhere. I don't know why that's my Comey impression. This is my Comey impression is just go for Everett. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a watch. Trey Gowdy, Republican in the House, will not be seeking re-election. He says that his duties are better served in the courtroom and not in politics. He's out of politics totally, right? Now, he is up for re-election, but I would not become tumescent just yet, blue team friends, because this is a very, very, very red district. All right? It's an off-year election, red district. Trump won it by 20%. So I don't think that this is an opportunity to flip a seat, or at least conventional wisdom does not say that this is an opportunity to flip a seat. That being said, if I were personally very, very, very excited for the Republican majority to be
And quietly get swallowed by a wave.
I would be currently running a GoFundMe campaign to cover the moving, relocation, and amenities for Roy Moore to South Carolina. Like, why does lightning only have to strike once? You want to know what? Here's a stretch goal. The stable fees for Sassy the horse. That's what we need. Move Roy Moore to South Carolina. Let him run for Trey Gowdy's seat. Democrats should be making this a road show. Each and every seat that possibly could be open, just slide Roy Moore on over there, huh? Right? Come on. If that happens, almost assuredly that majority would be.
It gets swallowed by a wave.
Now, this is interesting because Gowdy was the head of the Oversight Committee, which was a recent appointment in 2017 after Jason Chaffetz got the fuck out. Which, man, I'll tell you what, that appointment looking like the goddamn Overlook Hotel, huh? A little haunted. All right. One more thing to talk about when it comes to the State of the Union. I mean, this is obviously a very stressful time, I think, for a lot of people. You've got Democrats that were stone-faced throughout all of it. You've got, the Congressional Black Caucus that was looking like somebody farted in church when Donald Trump talked about the lowest black unemployment figures. You had Nancy Pelosi, who was mugging to her friend next to her as soon as Donald Trump mentioned bipartisanship. You had Chuck Schumer, who was like weirdly looking like, like aggressively sexual. It's just like, I don't know whether or not, is that Chuck Schumer's power move, or he's doing the like he's got like his very strong eyebrows, like just like staring down Trump, like, yeah. Hey, dude. Yeah. Hey, bro. What if we fuck for it? I don't even know what that would mean. But it's stressful. It's hard. It's hard to deal with this is a very staged event, the State of the Union, and then you have to have real emotions kind of pour into it. It's a confusing thing for people to watch. In fact, sometimes you just need to decompress. Which is why we all gathered you here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, everybody responding to a CBS poll. welcome. We are gathered here to ask you very, very simply to conduct this
Get on the floor if you got that booty.
Dance, 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 dance. Settle down, everybody. Settle down, settle down. Thank you all for answering this poll. Thank you so much. We are now going to reveal the winners. Coming up first to the stage, they are people that thought that this speech was divisive. They are people that thought that this speech was disgusting. They are people that thought that this speech was disqualifying Donald Trump for another 4 years in office. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 25% that say they disapprove. Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. There were some of you that believe that that speech got an A. There are some of you that believe that that speech was delivered with a plum. There are some of you that believe that that speech was delivered with a certain sense of je ne sais quoi. Ladies and gentlemen, 75% responding as approved. We'd like to thank all of the CBS poll respondents for joining us here at the Pole Dance. Please feel free to enjoy the buffet. We've got a new tray of crab rangoon coming out in a couple minutes. How many of my listeners have ate at a strip club? I want just an anonymous email. An anonymous email. Have you ate at a strip club before? Oh, and yes, that indeed is a 50-point spread. Let's go ahead and get into but your emails. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can go ahead and send me an email. theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Again, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. All right, listen, I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they don't trust this poll. CBS, must be CBS viewers, white people, old people. Look, if you don't want Donald Trump to be president, then you can't ignore when he does something popular. In fact, you need to pay more of attention to what he did that was popular. You need to know that. You need to know your enemy. Do not delude yourself into thinking that this man is going to be a pushover. He is not going to be a pushover. I'm telling you, I'm begging you to please listen. People like that speech last night. It was conciliatory. It seemed presidential for a man that very, very rarely seems presidential. Okay? He seemed bipartisan for a man that very, very, very rarely seems to be bipartisan. JSC315 in the Twitch chat. What has he done that's popular? Apparently give that speech if we're going to take that poll seriously. Although you're absolutely right that the CBS viewership is definitely a key demo. It is about as old and white as you're going to get. These motherfuckers are bringing back Murphy Brown. They're bringing back Murphy Brown. Can you fucking believe it? All right, here we go. This is your email, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Again, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Glenn writes, he said that he appreciated my breakdown in the email newsletter. Again, tinyletter.com/Justin Robert Young. when I broke down, like, hey, look, Trump might be in the process of boxing in Democrats for the 2020 election. Might be in the process of doing that. He pointed out that Scott Adams points out that there are mistake theorists and conflict theorists. He says mistake theorists treat politics as science, engineering, or medicine. The state is diseased. We're all doctors standing around arguing over the best diagnosis and cure. Some of us have good ideas. Others have bad ideas that wouldn't help, that would cause too many side effects. Conflict theorists treat politics as war. Different blocs with different interests are forever fighting to determine whether the state exists to enrich the elites or to help the people. Under this theory, your email fits right in. If Trump puts forward a mistake theory message and the Democrats don't, they will have the wave is much less likely to happen. If Democrats put forward a mistake theory message and Trump and the Republicans don't, the wave is almost guaranteed. If both do the same thing, well, it's more up in the air. The lesson is simple. Be productive. Don't demonize the enemy. But that brings about a big problem. Will anything other than demonizing the Republicans and Trump specifically bring out the Democratic base? As somebody on the left, right now, I am truly afraid of the left's political chances. I don't think that this counts for the wave. The only thing I would say to Glenn is separate out the wave, which is about this midterm elections that are coming up this year, and 2020. 2020, we are focusing more on what Donald Trump is doing in his messaging. The Republicans don't really have a broad-based message aside to say, we're in power now, allow us to continue to knock things off our checklist. But if we're talking about 2020, then yeah, no, I think that there is something to this. Specifically, if the point of Trump is, look, what if I'm not the demon that everybody makes me out to me, and I'm really just the liberal dude from Manhattan that's been clamoring in the past for universal health care and gun control? What if he's that guy? And what if he becomes more that guy, provided he gets back his big things, as I said before, for his base, the closer we get to 2020? Ned from Australia writes to us about his home country. Hundreds of top secret and highly classified cabinet documents have been obtained by the ABC, not our ABC, but their ABC, following an extraordinary breach of national security. The cabinet files is one of the biggest breaches of cabinet security in Australian history, and the story of their release is as gripping as it is alarming and revealing. It begins at a secondhand shop in Canberra, where ex-government furniture is sold off cheaply. I've never been more excited to read the rest of an email. The best stories about massive government leaks all begin with, it begins at a secondhand shop in Canberra, where ex-government furniture is sold off cheaply. The deals can be even cheaper when the items in question are two heavy filing cabinets to which nobody can find the keys. Oh, my God. They were purchased for small change and sat unopened for some months until the locks were attacked with a drill. Inside was the trove of documents now known as the cabinet files. The thousands of pages reveal the inner workings of 5 separate governments and span nearly a decade. Nearly all the files are classified, some as top secret or AUSTEO, AUSTEO, which means that they are to be seen by Australian eyes only. Holy shit, we got to read more about this. Ned, thank you so much. That is awesome. Somebody dropped decades worth of top secret files at a fucking thrift shop. I'm going to pop some tags, going to get some state secrets. This is fucking classified. Carl writes in, Terry Bollea versus Oprah Winfrey. Who would be their running mates and who would win? All right. Imagine a world. Let's clean the decks, right? And let's say that it is a hypothetical match between, or a hypothetical race between Terry Bollea as a Republican and Oprah Winfrey as a Democrat. I don't think it's a contest on who would win, because so let's focus on the running mates. You know, I would say Oprah. It feels like Oprah would go. Man, would Michelle run with Oprah? I feel like Michelle Obama with Oprah, and who would the Hulkster run with? You know, it might wind up being more Pence, like more of a Pence pick. Like, it had to be somebody super safe. It could indeed be Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake. Big shout out, Conrad Thompson. No, I think it would be somebody safe. It would be somebody like Orrin Hatch. Hulk, it would be Bollea Hatch versus Oprah Obama. Or Winfrey Obama. Now, of course, it would not be a contest, because during the first debate, all time limits and topics would completely go out the window as Oprah gets Hulk Hogan to cry about the time that he said the N-word at the end of a sex tape. Ooh, Pluck61 says Bollea Huckabee. Oh, that's a pretty good one. Although he's still a little too out there. You'd want somebody as anchoring old and white as possible. Although Winfrey Biden would be a good ticket too. Oh, this is some other shit I need y'all to email me about. theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Yeah. And Mean Gene would be the press secretary for Hulk. Well, as you can see, employment is at an all-time low, and President Hogan believes that you are fake news. And now, back to action. Okay, folks, you can go ahead and email the show, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. I want to take a few seconds here at the end of the show to talk about the live show we got coming up. You're going to hear a lot about it. But I've had a weird reaction when I've talked to people about it. Because when people hear sex scandal now, they think of the sex scandals that are happening now, which is understandable. They're thinking Harvey Weinstein and Stormy Daniels and Aziz Ansari and Louis C.K., that kind of stuff. And that I'm going to be up on stage in San Francisco of all cities, making yucks and laughs about the very important movement that is happening where women are breaking their silence about decades of mistreatment, sexual harassment, and rape, right? That's not what this is going to be about. That is absolutely not what this is going to be about. This is about political sex scandals throughout history. And I mean throughout history. We've got secret gay couples. We've got three-ways. We've got wide stances. We've got one of the most beloved presidents of all time in a shameful sex scandal. A sex scandal that I am shocked does not stick to his legacy on some level. Everybody that I have told about this sex scandal, and this, again, one of the most beloved presidents of all time, Gambling Man says, you better say that at the beginning of the show then. Yeah, I agree. I should. And it's why I'm saying it now, because this idea kind of was percolating and in the works before a lot of this social stuff happened. And I in no way want anybody to think that this is about what is happening now. This is about the most, I will tell you the most recent sex scandal on there. It is AJ Delgado of the Trump campaign. There was a love child with her and one of the other staffers, and it wound up costing that staffer the job as a press secretary. That's the most recent. The most recent. The focus of this show is going to be about, number one, celebrating the excesses and abuses of power. We are going to point and laugh at the hubris and flameout of our ruling class. And we are going to have a really, really, really good time. That's what this show is about. It is not about Me Too. It is not about Time's Up. It is not about Trump. Again, the closest thing we get to Trump in here is two of his staffers accidentally making a baby. But that's the show. So go ahead, bit.ly/sfsexshow. Again, bit.ly/sfsexshow is where you want to go for that. I'm being a brave bird, and I emailed the people to see what the head count on tickets is so far. I know we've had a few people buy it, but it's not a big theater. It's about 40-seater. So I would suspect that we will come close to selling out, and you should probably get your tickets as early as possible. So bit.ly/sfsexshow. If you can't make it to that, don't worry. We will be running this bracket, a bracket for which is similar to the madness which engulfs us in March, although legally distinct from it. We will be running that week by week throughout March. So we will have an internet bracket, and then, of course, we'll do the one at the live show. bit.ly/sfsexshow. That about wraps it up for us on the show this week, however. Again, if you want to email the show, theyoungamerican@gmail.com. Music has been provided by Valesco and Drop Killers. You can follow me at Justin R. Young everywhere. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. You can download archived episodes of this show at bonerwars.com. Patreon.com/JURY. If you're at the $3 level, you get 2 extra podcasts in your custom RSS feed. Super easy. Do me a favor. Tell one person about this show that you know likes politics. Do me that fave, huh? Because, you know, some shows talk about politics. There's another show I was listening to that was talking about politics, and there was one my mom recommended to me that was even talking about politics. But this show, this little guy right here, this is the only one that talks about politics. See you guys next week.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.